body count than the
Yep.
man.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be under 10. That's what I'm saying. Like it's relative to the man's body count.
No.
Hers
Yeah.
has to be less, but it doesn't have to be 3% of his body count. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree with
So-
that, but I think that they're like the way that we phrase it a lot of the times in terms of saying like, oh, body count doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter.
It matters.
It absolutely does matter, but by saying and like bringing up the arguments for like it not mattering or like trying to justify it, basically gives people an incentive to participate in it when it does not add any sort of value to your life to like have a high body count or participate in hookup culture. It adds no value to your life long term. And eventually just hurts you in your personal relationships.
So it's only a very small percent of people who find, especially women who just find pleasure in just having casual sex.
Yeah.
I think there's more women who are trying to convince themselves that they feel that
Absolutely.
way. So I do agree that a lot of women are hurting themselves by participating in this, 100%. But I don't think that it's fair to say that all men want virgins or all men want women with only 3+ bodies, because that's just simply not true. A lot of men don't care as much as you make it seem. If it was true, then we wouldn't see all these porn stars wifed up. We wouldn't see all these strippers getting, and I'm not even saying by like low men. We see billionaires taking strippers out of the strip club and putting a ring on their finger. So
Dreading the Monday grind? Looking for a job that is flexible, better paid, more satisfying, and open to remote work? Here's the answer: a new path in tech. From now
it's not all men that care about body count.
So
or Drake's baby mama wouldn't be a prostitute.
Yeah, I'm not saying all men, but I think the majority of men, even if they don't want to recognize it or don't upfront know about their conscious or it's an unconscious bias that they have against it. I told my boyfriend I was going to bring this up at some point because it was a really great argument that or conversation I had with him. He had previously dated somebody or a girl with a body count of roughly 40, and he essentially said that he didn't care about it. And then I proceeded to have a conversation with him about it, and he kind of backtracked and said, oh, well, because she told me her body count was that high, I proceeded to not take the relationship seriously.
So he did care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he did care. He didn't like realize that he actually cared, but
Is his body count under 40?
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. But a man who has a body count of say 60 or 80 or whatever probably doesn't care about her 40. Because I've met guys too. It's like my friend, he said the same thing. He was dating a girl who had a body count of like around 30, and his was like in the teens, and it was on his mind all the time, in the back of his mind all the time. She had hooked up with some of his friends before. Like, I totally get that.
See, I think even if it is a guy that has a body count of say 80, seeing a girl with a body count of something like 40, I think it still would play a part in how he viewed that relationship.
Possibly.
Also-
I just think they could understand it more, like maybe conceptualize it a little better, because
Sure.
they've laid down with double as many people before, versus somebody who hasn't slept with 40 people is like, how could you even, lay down with 40 people? They can't even conceptualize it.
Yeah.
So
I also just would say though, like, I think you mentioned something about you think it's better for men to have maybe not an excessively higher body count, but you think it's better for men to have a bit more experience. Is that?
I'm saying a relationship will not work out if a woman has a higher body count than the man in the relationship. Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And is that just coming from the guy being less sexually experienced, basically? Is that kind of the angle?
It becomes insecure. The man cannot fathom the fact that the girl he's with has been touched by more men
And it's
than
not
he hasn't even
insecurity.
touched them.
Not insecurity.
No, I'm not saying it's a
not
wrong insecurity. I'm not saying it's not all insecurities are bad. It's an insecurity from the fact of that's not. He's not like that. He's not someone who's sexually promiscuous like that. So being with someone who's more sexually promiscuous as him, it's something that a lot of men cannot deal with. There's always going to be feathers ruffled.
Well, I also think when it comes to like okay, hold on, I'll come back to it. Why body count matters. Condoms do not protect against genital herpes. Yep, 60 bodies equals 12 partners who are infected. 100 bodies equals you're likely infected. This is why they can't test for it in adult content. Years can go by without an outbreak, but you still spread it. Yeah, it's very true. Like, condoms do not necessarily, like, if you can get, I guess, an outbreak on your region that's not protected by condoms, so, and you don't want that. So, when it comes to like a gap in experience with sex, I would definitely say that a woman who's more sexually experienced than a man probably, I think most women would not want to teach a guy, like show a guy how to fuck them. Like a girl doesn't want to teach a dude, like women just want a guy to get it. Now I'm not saying that you shouldn't like have open communication, and if there's certain things you like I don't think we should treat men as mind readers. They're just going to instantly get everything. But I don't like, if a woman is with a really inexperienced guy sexually, I think she's just going to be like, it's going to be, you know, assuming she has sexual experience, it's going to be a turnoff for her. A woman doesn't want to show a guy, teach a guy how to fuck. Whereas like a guy who's with an inexperienced woman, like if you're a guy, you know how to lead, like assuming we're kind of going along, like if the guy's typically a bit more dominant in the bedroom, the woman's a bit more submissive, the guy is going to be able to lead the woman, and it's not going to be like, oh, you're inexperienced, this is a turn off. It actually may very well be neutral or just a turn on, if anything. So I think there's that component. Also, just I think coming back to what you said, or I forgot who was saying it, something about, was it you who was talking about like the why would a guy want to get with a woman who might not be good in bed or who's inexperienced even in a one night stand? Was that?
I think that was me.
Oh, that was
also,
you.
side note, I was not laughing at
anyone.
anyone. I was reading the chat and they were very funny.
Oh, and actually we do have one more video that we're going to react to.
Okay.
Relax. Oh, that was
also,
you.
side note, I was not
and we didn't
laughing
get
at
to go around the
anyone.
table
I was
fully.
reading the chat and they were very funny.
Oh, and actually we do have one more video that we're going to react to.
Okay.
Relax, lady. Okay. Don't worry, we're almost done here. So,
Starving here.
and actually, related to that though. So, what I would say, and it's another tape video. Don't worry, it's brief. So, what I would say is, what matters more than a girl who sucks dick really well, because we've often had girls on the show like, oh, well, a woman who's not sexually experienced, who has a low body count, she's not going to be able to give you the Gluck 9000. Like, she's not going to know how to like maneuver her I don't know, her pelvis in a certain way to please you. It's like, no, that's bullshit. First, one, if you're a guy, you know how to lead. You like, if you have any sexual experience in the bedroom, you can lead a girl and you can make her good in bed pretty simply. Also, I think it's a girl who like, you know what matters more when it comes to that? It's not how good her head game is. It's a girl who loves you to death, who's your ride or die, who's going to have your back, who takes care of you just like you take care of her, who's going to be there through the good time, the bad time, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd just rather have a girl who truly loves me, and I truly love her, and it doesn't like, okay, she doesn't suck dick the best. Who fucking cares? That's not a huge priority. One, you can learn. Two, again, if you're a guy and you can lead in the bedroom, you can have amazing sex with a girl who's sexually inexperienced. So, yeah, I don't know. Sex is not like this complicated. Actually, the Tate articulates way better than me. Oh, it's a different video.
Donated $99. For the panel 1 by 1, would you date a person who had genital herpes?
God, okay.
What it does: 1.
We'll go through.
7x more likely to contract HIV. 2. Disclose to all future partners and facing likely rejection. 3. Taking antivirals for life. 4. Having to use herpes dating sites.
Oh God. Well, number 2, definitely. I mean, I feel like dating is hard enough for men and women as it is.
Liam LA donated $100. Adam 22 has the worst life ever.
Yeah, thank you, Liam LA. We will read your other chats here too. We'll get to them in a sec. But so number 2 in Jay Butler's previous thing, saying disclose to all future partners and facing likely rejection. Look, for men and women dating relationships, it's hard enough as it is. Do not, if you're promiscuous, like there's a higher likelihood of you getting an STD. Like don't further handicap yourself and make it more difficult to find, you know, that long-term relationship or a boyfriend or even anything. Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if a girl has herpes, I don't care how fucking beautiful she is. I don't care if she's way out of my league. I don't care how cool she is. Like if you have an incurable STD, that's just, you could be a great person, but I'm not going to pursue that. So going around the panel, would you date a person who has the herp?
No.
I would consider it when dating. Okay, this is probably going to sound dumb, but I think I would be more open to it if we were getting married, because my sexual, like, history or like my sexual stance of having that